Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Garage 99. In today's video, we are doing our first review for Monicatti Auto Sales. This is their 1998 Chevy Corvette Pacecar replica. This car is for sale. It's available on their website. I will put the information and links in the description below. This is a very unique car. This is actually a Pacecar replica of the May 24th, 1998 Indianapolis 500. It has the logos and everything, the commemorative colors and everything to go with it. It's a very beautiful car. They only made 1,158 of these cars. They're very limited production. Chevy did it every single time they had an official pace car, this being one of them. So these are about the same horsepower as the standard C5. It's 345 horsepower. It is convertible. It does help a lot. And this is going to be an entertaining car. I like the convertibleness to it. It's beautiful. I've never driven a Corvette before, but I love C5s, so I'm going to try to be pretty unbiased with this review. Like I said, just want to say a nice shout out to Monicatti Auto Sales for letting us borrow this vehicle today. This is going to be a new partnership with them, so hopefully everything goes pretty well. We'd like to keep doing stuff with them and kind of have them help us and us help them. Hopefully you guys see this, and if anybody is interested in this car, it will be available. It's a pretty good price too, I think. Let's go ahead and get this thing on the road. This is automatic. It's going to be a 6-speed automatic. If you don't know much about these cars, the transmissions in them are actually in the back. They do this to balance out the weight of the car, to give it that nice 50-50 weight distribution. I don't know if the convertible changes that at all. Sorry, just trying to fiddle with the seats here. You definitely feel like you're sitting in a sports car in this one. Let's see. So we're going to go for a quick little drive. I'm going to talk about the car and all the features and everything. So this is a 1998. Like I said, it's got pretty low miles, only like about 50,000 miles. This is a pretty easy vehicle to drive. I mean, if you want something for the weekend or whatnot, it's a good vehicle. So we're going to go ahead and just jump on the freeway over here. Already I can tell you kind of got that typical wind noise of, you know, having a convertible. I personally own a convertible. It's just part of the nature of the beast. But man, this thing drives really, really well actually so far. Steering's very tight. And of course, we've got traffic. Plenty more time to talk to you guys about it. Yeah, so this was a pretty low production car. The real car that this is based off of actually was given a boost in power. They gave it 375 horsepower. They just changed the intake manifold and a couple other items with it. But I actually have seen a few of these cars in particular. I don't see them too often. This package is actually a $5,000 option over the other packages. Like if you were to get a base model C5 Corvette, and if you wanted a manual, it was another $800 option for this. So if you do see these in a manual, that's a pretty rare configuration. It's not very common. It was something that people just asked for when they ordered these cars. The 0 to 60 in this car is about a 4.6, 4.7, which is pretty good. This is a 1998 after all. I mean, there wasn't many cars back then that were doing those kinds of speeds. So outside of the livery, what does this package give you? You get an upgraded sound system, you get a digital clock, you get automatic climate control, anti-theft, you get Bose speakers. Radio does have a CD player in this one, so you do get some cool options with it. I personally like it. I think it feels very good. Of course, I picked today to do this. A lot of traffic. I really do like it. I've driven a C4 Corvette. I feel like the C4 is it's dated itself quite a bit. This kind of feels like an early 2000s car. It doesn't really have that old feel to it. I mean, it does have an updated brand new LS engine. This is the legendary LS motor that everybody puts in their new Chevys and stuff, and I've never heard anybody complain about this engine. It's a good engine, it's a good transmission. This is a good powertrain if you guys wanted to leave these cars the way they are. This is a very collectible car. I don't recommend anybody purchasing this vehicle with the mindset to do any sort of modifications to it, but you know, to preserve it, keep it, store it, enjoy it on the weekends, bring it to a cruise, whatever. But yeah, this is an awesome vehicle. It really does turn a lot of heads. It is quite a crazy color combination. If you like Merlot blue or something, or some sort of very dark blue that if you catch it in the right light, it looks like a purple. It's very cool. It's got the stickers, the sticker package that covers the whole side. It goes up the hood, it travels past the soft top onto the trunk. It has yellow wheels, so it's very cool. It's very nice heritage or commemoration to the Indy car race. It's very cool that they say, hey, you know what? We created a pace car. Let's make a production car so people can kind of have that same heritage. All right, so just open up a little bit. Let's see what this thing's got. Okay. That's pretty quick. That's kind of what I expected. It's an automatic. It shifts very fast. This is still pretty low mileage. And it's got a good amount of juice to it. It does have a lot of very interesting buttons on the dashboard. Like we have fuel, we have gauges, we can look at our oil pressure, our oil temperature, our coolant temperature, trans fluid temperature, battery volts, tire pressures front and rear. I mean, you get a lot of stuff with that. You have your tripometer button, you have your options button. I don't even want to play with that. You have your EM. What the heck? Oh, you can switch from kilometers to miles per hour on the fly. It switches the gauge from kilometers to miles per hour. Like I'm doing 25 miles per hour. Now it says I'm doing 50 kilometers per hour. That is so cool. I've never seen a vehicle do that before. And then you have your reset button. But the fuel button shows your average miles per hour, or average miles per gallon, your instant miles per gallon, your range. So let's go ahead and switch to instant. While we're cruising on the freeway, we can find out how much mileage, what kind of mileage we're getting. I'm sorry, this car is very cool. I'm very happy with it. It looks like you also get some pretty cool, unique floor mats that are black with yellow outlines all throughout it. And so far, I mean, I've been sitting in these seats for about 5-10 minutes now, and they're pretty comfy. They look cool. The bolstering is not bad. If I had a little more meat in my bones, I would say I'm probably just right, because the bolsters are a little wider than my car. Kind of a little bit of wiggle room, but it definitely fits anybody. Now, I'm 6'2". I'm probably going to say this in every video because, you know, you want to make sure. I got plenty of headroom in this car. I'm very, very comfortable. There's a lot of different body types that would feel comfortable in a two-door convertible car. This one specifically, because they usually sacrifice a lot of space when that's the only bit of room you get. So you definitely want to make sure that you fit in a vehicle before you have too much interest in it. And by the way, this isn't a super low car where a lot of current gen sports cars are so low to the ground from the factory that you can't even go into a driveway without scraping it. You know, this gives you a little more freedom. You don't have to be so cautious about where you're parking it or how you're exiting or entering driveways with. You do, however, got to be cautious with the hood. The hood's pretty long and very sloped. You can't really see the front of it. And then even through the back, I mean, that's a pretty small window. So I would say be very cautious whenever you're parking this anywhere. All right, we're getting on the freeway here. Let's give a little juice from the start and see. It chirps second. Okay, got up to freeway speeds. And it showed me too, when I jumped onto the freeway, that it had the active handling kicked in. So I wonder if active handling means traction control. I don't really know. Okay, I have the cruise control set for 70 miles an hour currently, and I'm getting 26 to 27 miles to the gallon. That's pretty impressive. This is a very sporty car. It gets that good of mileage with a 5.7 liter V8 in the front of it. Super smooth, no shakes. It's an awesome car. I really like it, which makes it more difficult for me because I really want one of these cars. And I was kind of hoping there'd be something wrong with the chassis as a whole that I wouldn't like. I love this car. By the way, for those of you curious, the active handling button is pretty obviously for this car because it has the back end of a C5 Corvette doing a squirrely burnout. It's kind of a funny little Easter egg that you wouldn't normally notice on a vehicle. Now, before we head back and finish this review of this car, I'm going to go ahead and head over to the park that's next door of their business and kind of talk about the outside of the car a little bit more with you guys. This is a very quiet car when you're just cruising around, which is really nice. You don't get a whole lot of road noise, you don't get a lot of wind noise, engine noise, nothing. I'm going to be honest with you, just driving through this parking lot, if I didn't know any better, I think this was like a brand new vehicle. It's like a time capsule back in 1998. I mean, this thing is fantastic. Okay, now to take the soft top down, you want to move the sun visors out of the way, take these clips, you want to pull the handle out and twist them. There's one on both sides. Pull the handle out, twist it. Now that should be loosened. Okay, so I finally figured it out off camera. It's gonna be difficult because I'm using one hand, but you lift this, and as you lift that, it's gonna pull pressure off the back of it. So you lift that, you lift this, you bring them together. You go ahead, you press that yellow button we saw, you lift this. Okay, that'll hold itself up. You take this top, tuck that part down under there. You tuck the top part down in there. Bring this back down, and I would imagine it locks in the middle. And now your top is down. And now you're ready to go do Pacecar things, you know, like having some fancy lady waving to people or something, you know, it's what you do when you own a Pacecar. All right, let's go ahead and release the hood. You've got your beautiful LS1 engine in there, 5.7 liter, 345 horsepower. Very, very, very workable engine. This is probably the best engine in the 90s and early 2000s. You got all your stickers, your decals and everything. This is a pretty sweet car. I really do like it, honestly. I am trying to be honest about these cars, you know. If there's something I don't like, I will say I don't like it. I'm gonna be honest, if I don't like something, I think the top on these are a little complicated, but that was my first time doing it, so it's probably much easier than that. So yeah, that's pretty much gonna do it, guys. Again, huge shout out to Monicatti Auto Sales. Their building is actually just over there. Great people, been in business for a very long time. They're very honest. They have a lot of premium vehicles. I'd like to say thank you for letting me borrow this vehicle for this review today, and hopefully one of you guys can own this car. And on that note, guys, peace out and keep turning those gears.